Now, but in some cases, if you look at the recorded case or what is in the literature may not be exactly same as the situation what you are really facing now. Maybe sometimes the case itself, the problem itself may differ, or maybe the conditions are differing, or maybe the culture is differing, or the society is different. So the same approach may not be appropriate for you to adapt using a case which is recorded in the literature. The same as in the issues also. So the best thing is, because of that, we should learn, we should know the principles for us to make decisions. The principles mean we have to have some theoretical background. Got everybody? Yes? Are you all with me?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Because of this, now we are moving to some theoretical perspective. We need to have a firm theoretical background that allow us to evaluate each case that we come across in our professional life. For this, we call these theories moral theories. Right? Like physical theories, like finance-related theories, we call this set of theories moral theories. In fact, there are many theories. I have selected you all some basic 4 theories to discuss under ethical aspects. These moral theories, what we are going to discuss, one thing is utilitarian theory. Utilitarian theory. The other one, duty theory, right theory, and virtue theory. These are the theories that we are going to discuss. Now, by using these theories, we can make our ethical decision. So whatever it comes in our professional life, when we are practicing our profession at workplace. Okay. Right. What is utilitarian theory, or you call it utilitarianism? Can you remember when we were discussing decision making? When we were discussing decision making, we discuss analytic hierarchy process. There also, we discuss one unit called utils and one term called utility. Basically, this term is used in economics. The utility means basically the satisfaction. So how you measure the satisfaction is by utils. I said Now, when you are so hungry, when you are eating the first banana, so you are so happy. You have so much of actually more than happy. The word is appropriate is a pleasure, right? I mean, this pleasure is reducing. So utility is reducing. The util values are reducing. Now, this theory basically looking at the happiness of people, right? Utilitarianism would say that an action is right if it results in the happiness of the greatest number of people in the society or a group. Now, this theory says, what theory says? Any action, it is right. That means we can take that action if and only if the results create happiness among whom? The greatest number of people, the bigger number of people, the higher number of people, right? So then you say, this decision we need to take, right? That is utilitarian. Everybody got or not clear? Hmm? Can somebody explain in simple terms what is utilitarianism? Come on, come on. Today is not night time, during daytime, so everybody should not be tired. This is the fresh time, the morning hours. Can anybody explain? Or you all want me to repeat the things? Okay, I'm repeating again. This theory says, basically, when you are taking decision, you have to take decision if your action create happiness among people, and the number of people has to be the greatest. The higher number of people should be happy with your action, right? If I'm saying whatever your action, it should create happiness for a higher number of people, the greater number of people, the bigger number of people, right? So that action, you can say it is right. So our ethics has to be to take that kind of action. That is what it says. Got it clear or not? I need feedback, otherwise I won't be able to continue. Can I get a feedback? If nobody understood, no point of continuing. With your feedback only, I can think of how to communicate. That's some of the communication theories we learn, right? Feedback is important. Anybody? Why not talking, huh? Got it? I'm repeating again. The utilitarian theory basically says our action has to foster the happiness or a pleasure among the highest number of people. If people are unhappy or not pleasure or making harm, we should not take that action. That is the moral. Based on that, we need to take our action. That is the ethic. Right? Now, here, what do you mean by happiness? What do you mean by pleasure? The pleasure and happiness, not equal, but it is something similar. Right? But anyway, okay, for the moment, we'll take it happiness and pleasure are equal, right? Now, but under this theory, we need to know three things. Now, the pleasure or happiness is the only thing that has intrinsic value under this theory, utilitarianism theory. Actions are right if they promote happiness, and actions are wrong if they promote unhappiness. Right? I'm telling in other words, then everyone's happiness we count as equally, but in reality, it may not be the same. I may happy greatly, but you may happy lightly, right? But under this theory, we think that, we assume that everyone's happiness count equally. And we think that any action, what we are taking is right if many people are happy, right? It is like our election. We think that the higher number of people selecting president. But everybody is not happy with that selection. Others are having different opinion. But if higher number of people selecting, we have to accept it. It is same as utilitarianism theory. Utilitarian theory. It says also, if our action create happiness among higher number of people, then that action is right. And we think that the happiness among people, everybody getting the same level of happiness, right? Look at this picture. This is a balance. Here you are. You are going to take a decision. Your action create happiness among people. There may be some people unhappy. There may be more people happy. Since more people happy, you think that you take a decision that your action is right. Your moral is then to take that action, right? Okay. But still, there are some limitations in this theory, right? Look at this. Now, some of the limitations I have presented in this slide. A limitation of utilitarianism is that it tends to create a black and white construct of morality. In utilitarian ethics, there is no shades for gray. That means some of the decisions, sometimes you may feel that you can't say exactly right or wrong. It may have some kind of a mixed results, right? It is not purely black or purely white. It may have something in between, but there is no provision in this theory for that in between, either right or wrong, either black or either white, right? The other one, utilitarianism, also cannot predict with certainty whether the consequences of our actions will be good or bad. Now, you are taking some action. For the moment, that is good. But because of your action, it leads to another action. That you don't know, that consequences of your action, you don't know whether that is good or bad, and you don't worry about also. Right? In this theory, you don't worry. You worry only about your immediate action. The other one, utilitarianism also has trouble accounting for values like justice and individual right. What does that mean? For example, say a hospital has 4 people who lives, whose lives depend on receiving organ transplants. Right? 4 patients are there. They want some organs for them to live, otherwise they are dying. One is heart, one is lung, one is kidney, and another person requires a liver. If a healthy person wanders into the hospital, his organs could have been harvested to save 4 lives at the expense of his life. You kill that person and get all the organs and transplant to 4 patients. The one is dying, 4 is living. Right? 4 people happy, 1 person is unhappy. As per the utilitarian theory, this is a right decision. Right? So, this is another limit with this theory. Right? In fact, I mean, this is the kind of a thing that you are unable to do. That is because somebody's right we are violating. Right? The healthy person's right we are violating. So you can't do this action. You can't take this action. You can't take this decision. Right? Therefore, another theory has been evolved that we call duty theory. Now, under ethics, now we are going to learn about 4 theories. Why we won't have theories? Because we said that with case studies or with issues, by referring case studies or issues, we won't be able to take absolute decisions because our conditions and the case conditions might be different. So we are going to learn how to make decisions. To make decisions, we need some principles, some background, some philosophy. That is the theory. Now, under that, we first learn the utilitarian theory. Now, we found that there are some weakness, some limitations. So we jump into the next theory, that is duty theory. What is duty theory? Duty theory states that we each have some duties to other people. Very simple. It says we have some duty to other people. Okay? What does it mean? We have some responsibilities to deliver. there are two philosophers. Actually, there are more than two philosophers, but two philosophers who mainly contributed to this theory. The one is we call Kant. The Kant argued that what separated us from animals and our ability to think, our ability. I mean, he basically, how he developed this theory, he basically explained how we are different from animals. He says that is the difference is our ability to think rationally. So what he basically say, animals can't think rationally. What do you mean by rationally? Basically, logically. He says animals are driven by impulses, and so they are irrational. As humans, however, we can reason, make decisions independent of our desire. Sometimes we want to do something. We like to do something. We like to eat ice cream. Now, but we don't take that decision, right? Our impulse is to eat ice cream, but we take a decision to not to eat ice cream because of some reason. Maybe we are not well, right? I mean, we can make decisions independent of our desire. That's the difference. But animal can't. So then his argument continue. The Kant use the term goodwill to refer to our will to rise above our passion and biases and act rationally. Kant thought that it was possible to develop a consistent moral system by using reasons because we can think rationally, which animal can't do. Now, he identified the difference between animal and human. The human can think rationally, independent of the desire. So, he developed a theory, right, to do basically for us to take decision by using reasons. So, Kantian ethics, it says that the morality of an action depends on a moral law that it universal and absolute and not on the consequences of action. He is saying if we take a decision, that decision is universally right, whether that is in India, whether that is in Sri Lanka, whether that is in UK or wherever, it is absolutely right or wrong. Right? He believed some acts were absolute, always wrong. Example, telling a lie is always wrong. Here it is a given example. Look at this. He defended the idea that it is wrong to lie to an axe murderer. The murderer who is having an axe and knocking on your door and asking some person, Bob, where he is hiding? You know that why he is searching Bob. The murderer want to kill. But as per this theory, the Kantian perspective, even here you can't lie to the murderer, because as this principle, you have to tell always truth. That is the moral, and that creates the ethics. Everybody clear? These principles are very important. I mean, you will see, we will discuss a case study and we will apply this theory and see how we can interpret. Look at this diagram. As per the Kantian perspective, we are taking decision right or wrong. So this is a different presentation. Kantian ethics are a set of moral principles which applies to human beings universally, respective to the context or situation. So whatever it happens, the right is right, wrong is wrong. Whether the ex-murderer coming to kill the Bob, but still you are telling, yes, Bob is hiding behind that door or whatever that room. That's what this Kantian ethics says. I hope everybody clear. Right? Okay. Now, this law also, it is obvious that it is really confusing. There are some limitations with this theory as well. Look at this. While this concept may be widely accepted in general, the difficulty lies in coming up with details of what these duties ought to be. So we don't know what are the real duties. We taken, I mean, as an example, not to tell lie. But this says that we are having duties. The theory says, duty theory states, we each have some duty to other people. What's the duty that we have to do? It is not explicitly stated by Kant. So Kant's perspective is that something can only be considered a duty if it could be willed for other people to do. He is saying, now our duty is if it could be willed for all people to do. If everybody is doing, if everybody willing to do, that action is our duty. Then the question arises, does society benefit if everyone will do the duty? People may do something, but will it be benefit to the society? That we don't know. Because of that, Ross, another philosopher, tried to get around this problem by creating, he called prima facie duties. Prima facie is actually a Greek term, right? Prima facie duties. The prima facie mean actually based on the first impression. Here they look at not again the consequences, he look at in the first sight, first impression, whether this is right or wrong. He says there are duties that even rational, reflective person would accept. He says these are the duties that every rational, if reflective person would accept. These are the duties. He identified 5 duties. It's like our 5 precepts in what Lord Buddha says, right? Ross identified 5 prima facie duties that represents our main moral commitment. What is one? It says you have to keep your promise and you have to be truthful. That is one of the prima facie duty. But the other one, what is the other duty? Duty of reparation. If some bad thing happen because of your some of the action, you have to make it correct. Make up for wrong done to others. You have to make it correct, or you have to do something to recover, right? That is the other duty that you need to do. The first one is to keep the promise and to be truthful. The next one is to have make-up action for wrong done to others. The next duty of gratitude. What does it mean? Express gratitude when others do things that benefit us, and to reciprocate when possible. If somebody is good thing, you appreciate it. And again, you also do this good thing in return. That is what it says. Fourth one, a duty to promote maximum of aggregate good, or to increase the overall good in the world. I mean, we have to do our level best to do the maximum, the aggregate good. I mean, we have to do our highest number of good things to the world. You have to do that. That is another duty. What's the fifth one? Non-maleficence. A duty of non-maleficence. That's mean to not to harm others. Basically, this ethic is coming with medical officers, especially they are working with patients. Their action should not make any harm to the patients, right? This is coming for engineers also, not non-maleficence, not to harm others. These are the ethics, these are the duties that Ross is identifying. There are 5 duties. Why he has identified 5 duties? Because in the Kant one, he says that we have duty, but the duty is only broadly explained. Now here, he has very particularly explained to avoid confusion among people. So far, are you all with me? Is that theories are clear? So far, we discussed 2 theories. Is this clear? Here I have put a comparison of Kantianism or a Kantian theory or a duty theory and the utilitarian theory. So have a look. So what are the differences? What are the similarities? Right? We'll move on to the next theory, the right theory. By looking at the slide, you can see what here we are looking at is human right. This theory states that an action is acceptable if it represents the human right of everyone involved. This moral theory is saying you can take action if it respects the human right of everyone involved. Whoever the person involved, if we are protecting their rights, you can take that action. Now, this moral theory also having a problem. What is that? What are we going to do when the right of two people are in conflict? For an example, one wants to listen music very louder, other one wants to listen music very softly. The rights are conflicting. Right? Clear? So we need to have a better theory, better moral theory in order to take our ethical action. Right. Each theory provides a framework. Now, the theory that we have discussed so far, what is the first one? The utilitarian theory. The second one, duty theory. The third one, right theory. Under utilitarian theory, we said you take decision if majority of people are happy with that action. Some may be unhappy, but majority of people are happy, you take that decision. That is utilitarian theory. Then the other one, we went to duty theory. We said that we have a duty to do for everybody. And we identified two philosophers. One is Kant, the other one is Rawls. The Kant says that we have a duty. That duty has to be an action or a duty that everybody would accept. So since the duties are not very clear, Rawls has identified very clearly those duties. Then we discussed the right theory. The right theory says that you are morally okay to take action if you are not violating the rights of the people who are involved in it. Right? For all these theories, we identified some issues, some shortcomings. Right? Those provide some framework to guide our moral behavior. We can apply these theories to ethical dilemmas, right? For an example, to check, is it okay to steal or not? Whether to get somebody's property, something, is it okay or not? Those things we can decide, right? Now look at, for utilitarian theories, what matter is the consequences of action. If you are stealing a loaf of bread, say, prevent your family from dying starving. Your family is starving. They are hungry. They want food. You steal a loaf of bread from a bakery. Then the annoyance of the shopkeeper is likely to be outweighed by your happiness that your family is still alive. Now, the bakery shop owner is unhappy, but your family is happy. There are more people. So you have to steal under the utilitarian theory. The Kant's theory, it says Kant's deontological ethics. The same thing. It takes a rule-based approach. According to Kant, there are certain moral laws that are universal and have a duty to follow them. We have provided two tests to determine what these laws are based on. These tests, Kant would say stealing is always wrong. As per Kant, steal is always wrong, regardless of the consequences, right? I mean, the person who is coming to kill, also we should not lie, as per the Kant, right? So then stealing bread is wrong as per the Kant theory. The Kant theory is a duty theory, right? Now, you see, these theories are contradicting. Now, because of these things, Aristotle, everybody must heard him. Aristotle, one of the greatest philosophers from Greece. Aristotle takes a different approach to both Kant and a utilitarianism. Kant and utilitarianism both gives formula for what to do. They say basically clearly what to do. But Aristotle more concerned with what sort of person we should be. Now, all those theories were saying you have to take this action or you have to not to take that action. But Aristotle is not saying so. He is saying what kind of a person we should be. Then we have to decide our action. He is talking only what kind of a person you should be. If a virtuous person would not steal in a particular set of circumstances, then it is wrong to steal in those circumstances. He is saying, Aristotle saying, you have to be a person. If a virtuous person, so I mean, an imaginary person, would not steal in a particular set of circumstances, right? He is not stealing in a kind of a situation, then you also should not do. His theory we call virtue theory, right? This theory we call virtue theory. This virtue ethics basically based on the premise that good people make good decision. This theory based on premise means principle. The principle behind the virtue ethics, as I said earlier, that good people make good decision. So the Aristotle, he did not talk about, so what you have to do. He talked about the person, the character, right? Under this theory, this principle behind this theory is that good people make good decision. If you are good, you are making good decision. If you are bad, you are making bad decision. The virtue ethical theories hold that ethical value of an individual is determined by his character. Look at this. Now, whether you are good or bad, that is your character. The character refers to the virtues, inclinations, and intentions that dispose of a person to be ready to act ethically. That is how he come to ethics. He is saying his principle is basically good people make good decisions. For you to be a good person, for you to make good decision, you have to be a good person. For you have to be a good person, so for you to be good person, you have to have a good character. For you to have a good character, you have to have virtues, inclinations, and intentions. What is virtue? Anybody having idea what is virtue? Anybody? Anybody having idea what is virtue? Today I am not going to. I mean, every day I recorded all these lectures, right? The videos. Only problem we had is actually, so I was unable to upload because the file size is bigger. I'm not going to share any of these videos, huh? Because what I need is basically you all want to actually actively participate for these lessons, and then, I mean, then and there to understand and finish it. I mean, even this preparation take long time. I mean, you should not do. I mean, it is not that you can't do, but it takes a lot of time for you all to, I mean, the research and find these uh, the theories and the examples, and then to participate, then to understand. Right? If you all are not actively participating, so it's a problem. Don't complain me later on. What is virtue? Now we said, now if you really look at the flow of the argument that we make in virtue theory, we can see what is virtues. We said in Aristotle, this virtue theory, it is based on the principle that good people make good decisions. Then how to be a good people? You have to have a good character. For you to have a good character, you have to have good virtues, inclinations, and intentions. Good virtue mean basically good qualities. For an example, honesty, kindness, courage, those are the good qualities. So when you have good quality, these good qualities guide a person to behave ethically. So the Aristotle is saying a person has to have good qualities. Example, honesty, kindness, courage. And further, he is saying he has to have an inclination. Inclination for what? Natural tendency or desire which can influence how they act. So you have to have a leaning towards, you have to have moving towards to behave better. Inclination align with the moral principle. The person's inclination, you have to move towards the good action. Even in classroom or wherever, sometimes bad people joining with bad people, good people joining good people. Right? You have a character and you have an inclination. Now, here Aristotle is saying you have to have good virtues, I mean, good qualities, and then you have to have inclination to do good. Then the other one, intention. What does it mean? Intentions mean motivation behind a person's action. You should have that motivation to do good things. When you have all these three, you have good character. When you have good character, you are a good person. When you are a good person, you are an ethical person. Here, Aristotle is saying virtue is the golden mean between two vices. The one of the excess, the one of excess and the other of deficiency. He basically says, now virtue mean, we said the kindness is a virtue. We said kindness is a virtue. We said honesty is a virtue. That honesty comes between two extreme cases. One thing is completely lying, maybe other one is absolute truth. The honesty comes in between. That is what Lord Buddha says. The middle path, the golden mean, the mean value, the middle path. Right? It's explained here. It gives this example, cowardice. So you say, if a person is coward, person is scared to do something. Let's say the person is coward to deliver a speech, right? Or let's say a person is coward to ride bicycle on the road. The virtue is the courage. Here you can see the courage is the virtue. So the courage is in between two extremes. The one is deficiency, other one is excess. The deficiency is cowardice. You are coward, you are scared to do. The other extreme is recklessness. You don't care about. That is the other extreme. So you have to be careful when you are riding cycle in the road because there are other vehicles come. But you don't care. That is recklessness. It should not be. Your courage has to be middle of these two extreme vices. What are these vices? Cowardice and the recklessness. That is what Aristotle says. Right? He's saying virtue is the golden mean between two vices. The one of excess and the other one is deficiency. There is a nice video. I will share this video, but not the whole video. Um, Can you see the screen? What you all can see in the screen?
YouTube page, sir.
Okay. This video you can see now.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Now, I'm not playing the whole video here. This is taking a long time. Since the link is there, later on you all can listen a couple of times, then you understand. If you all want, put the subtitles, right? I am playing little in the beginning and at the end, right?
Virtue ethics. Aristotle's virtue ethics can be gleaned from his seminal work titled Nicomachean Ethics. This book is undoubtedly the first systematic study of ethics in Western civilization. In this book, Aristotle offers principles of conduct that would guide humans in attaining the good life. It is worthwhile to begin our discussion of Aristotle's virtue ethics by contrasting it with Plato's take on ethics. As is well known, Plato, following his master Socrates, believed that the moral evaluations of daily life presuppose a good life which is independent of experience, personality, and circumstances. Aristotle rejected this view. For Aristotle, moral principles are immanent in our daily activities and can be discovered only through a careful study of them. It is for this reason that Aristotle begins his ethical inquiry with an empirical study of what it is that people fundamentally desire.
Please don't scroll. Listen to me. My name is Hiba from Gaza, and I'm supposed to be studying for my medical school final exams.
Aristotle argues that what people fundamentally desire is happiness, or eudaimonia. And Aristotle believes that happiness or eudaimonia is the ultimate human good. However, Aristotle warns that people's opinions about the concept of happiness considerably vary. Now, if we recall, the central question in Plato and Socrates' ethics is, what kind of life should one live? Aristotle followed this line of questioning in his Nicomachean Ethics. As we can see, just as Plato and Socrates, Aristotle was also concerned about the good life. However, instead of asking about how should one live, Aristotle was more concerned about the nature of the good life. Thus, Aristotle in effect asked the question, what is the nature of happiness? Or, what does happiness consist in? It must be noted that Aristotle did not just ask about the nature of happiness. In Nicomachean Ethics, he also raised the question concerning the conditions of its attainment, which eventually led Aristotle to the discussion of virtue. Aristotle's virtue ethics, therefore, is ultimately tied to a full understanding of the nature of happiness as humanity's ultimate goal, as well as the concept of virtue. As a virtue theorist, Aristotle's concern, therefore, is not only about right and wrong, but with virtues like courage and cowardice, wisdom and ignorance, justice and injustice, weakness of character or strength of character. From this discussion, we can now draw two major principles that will guide us in understanding Aristotle's virtue ethics, namely, eudaimonia and virtue. And so let us now turn our discussion to these concepts. Aristotle's concern, therefore, is not only about right and wrong, but with virtues like courage and cowardice, wisdom, In summary, we can say that Aristotle's virtue ethics is built around the premise that humans should aim to achieve excellent character. In other words, for Aristotle, humans should become ethical individuals. And Aristotle construes ethical individuals as having virtuous character, ethike arete in Greek. For Aristotle, an excellent character is the precondition for attaining happiness or eudaimonia, which, as already mentioned, is the ultimate goal of Aristotle's virtue ethics. And by focusing on happiness or eudaimonia, the shape of life as a whole becomes central to his ethical theory. This explains why, as already pointed out in this discussion, the key question in Aristotle's virtue ethics is what sort of life human beings should live. Thus, in the final analysis, practical virtues are the characteristics that humans need to develop to attain happiness. However, these practical virtues must be displayed in action for humans to truly attain happiness.
Sir, your mic is on mute. Are you explaining anything?
Yes, really sorry. Right, I have explained many things. Gosh, we'll go back. Okay, here we stop, right? This is the place where we stop. Hope, I guess you all got the meaning of what Aristotle's virtue theory, right? The virtue theory basically saying the good person do good thing to the society. For you to be a good person, you have to have a good character. For you have to have a good character, you should know, you should have good virtues, and you have to have an inclination, and you have to have an intention. That is what the theory said, right? Then this is actually, I additionally took it from one of the research articles recently published in the literature, right? If you all want, I can share, or otherwise you all can download as well. The same virtue theory explained in the perspective of what Lord Buddha's philosophy, right? As per this picture, it says that for you to be an ethical person, you have to expand your care about from you to the outward worlds. Basically, you start with the caring about you and your family, and to the distance people, maybe your relatives, society. Then your care is extending to non-human beings and to the biosphere and the future beings, right? So then this virtue ethics, it discuss about individual character ethics. The individual character ethics for the identification and development of noble human traits, help in determining both the instrumental and intrinsic value of human ethical interaction. Self-discipline, prudence, gratitude, wisdom, that's all individual characters. Then you move to the work ethics. That is, as an example, creativity, honesty, loyalty, honor, trustworthiness, civility. You behave like a civilian man, right? Then there is another sector, is professional character ethics. Being a professional person, so what the character should be, right? Now, using moral theories, now we will look at a case study, right? We are now going to discuss a case study, and we are going to analyze this case study based on the 4 theories that we learned. Now, here you have to definitely give me feedback, because I think I have shared these presentations. Did you all go through this case study? If it's gone through, then that is easy. We won't want to spend much time in reading. Did you all go through? Did you all go through or not?
Sir.
Sorry? It doesn't matter, tell me. If you have not gone through, we will go through together. What's the big
sir,
deal?
Didn't.
Huh? Didn't? Sorry?
Didn't, sir.
Didn't. Right, okay. Right. I presume everybody did not go through. Okay, we'll read. Shall I read on behalf of you all? Now, if you all don't understand, stop me and we'll discuss. Huh? Now, this is from one of the research articles. The detail of this article you can see here, right? Now, there are many authors in this article. The first author of this article was a metallurgical engineer, right? The first author was metallurgical engineer for a steel company. Their customer was one of the 5 largest companies in the country making consumer appliances. Right? Hope this is very clear. The first author of this article is a metallurgical engineer. He is working in a steel company. They are selling products. Their customer is one of another largest companies in the same country. They produce consumer appliance. That means the first company is providing some raw material kind of a thing or process material. Using those process material, the second company is manufacturing some consumer appliances. Right. We were selling them sheet steel. The first company is selling steel sheets to be used in the core of the electrical motors of the appliances. The second company is manufacturing electrical motors. To produce that electrical motors, the first company is selling metal sheet. Being a large company, the specification for the steel were written by engineers at the site about 200 miles away from customers' production facility. Now, this country is big. This organization is big. So, the specification of the steel sheet that to be produced is written by a set of specialists. Those specialists are 200 miles away from the production facility of the first company who produced steel sheets. We were faced with a problem for if our sheet met the specification for hardness. And now they are having a problem. When they are producing the metal sheet, if our sheet met the specification of hardness, then the steel would not physically work in the customer's press. Customer is who? The other company who is doing manufacturing of motors, right? If they are producing their metal sheet with correct hardness, with the specification given, then the next factory, they are unable to press. If we made a softer steel, not that much hard, that could be fabricated in the pressure, then that will not have met the customer's written specification. It is not the written specification, but that can work. Now, what are we going to do? The first company is having several options. Up to now, the problem is clear. I need feedback. Is problem clear?
Sir.
Yes or not?
So,
Yes. Okay. Now we have options. What are the options? The option 1, make steel that meets the written specification. We don't care about the continuity of business or the problems that the other factories facing. We will produce the metal sheets based on the written specification. We can then safeguard. That is the first option. The other option, make steel that will make the part but fail the specification. You make, that means softer metal sheet. That is the next option we have. The other one, stop selling steel to the customer since you cannot at the same time satisfy the specification and make that part. The next option is to stop selling, because if we produce the hard sheets that you can't continue the manufacturing. If you produce the soft sheet, that will not the specification that they are asking. So we can't satisfy both the requirement. The next option, attempt to get the parts of the company, customer company, to work together as to what hardness of steel they really needed. They may think that, okay, there must be something wrong with the specification. We better work along with the customer company to understand what's the real steel hardness they really needed. Those are the options. Now, so if you are there, so what is your option? What is the decision that you all are taking? What's the decision? I know that you all are not answering today. Okay. This company chose version of option D, the last option. That is to work with them and to understand what is the real strength they require. We first met separately with the specification writers and then the production people. They met separately. They first met the specification writers and then the production people. The specification writers assured us that their specification was not arbitrary. They are saying that, no. Our specification, it is not just we pick it from sky. It is with the rationale, right? But was based on the need to have a certain efficiency in the electrical motors. It is decided based on the requirement of the efficiency of the final product. But what they said, they believe that if they were to change the specification, then the motors in the appliance would not run efficiently. So they are saying, if we change the specifications, motors will not run efficiently. So we can't do. When told that steel that met the minimum hardness standard jam in the press of the manufacturing facility, right? Now what we are telling, okay, now after we manufacturing, we send the specified sheet to your factory. So that factory is having an issue. It's jam in the press. It's stuck in the press. So then these specification writers are saying the manufacturing facility were incompetent. Manufacturing facility were incompetent. Their people, their own people, they are saying they are incompetent. That is the problem. Otherwise, this should work. Now, what are we going to do? The response of the people at the manufacturing plant was very much different. Now we went, I said now, initially we met the writers, specification writers, then the manufacturing people. Their opinion is different. They said that if we met the official minimum hardness number, the steel would jam in the press and be rejected. If you are providing with the minimum hardness at the factory, it will be rejected. They are also saying that if we made steel that was below the official minimum hardness number, it would work in the press and they would not tell the rest of their corporations that the steel was out of specification. They are telling, okay, you don't want to manufacture your steel to the specified level of hardness. You make it little down and manufacture and send it. We won't tell to our other levels. right? With that steel, we will manufacture. Now, what are we going to do? Right? Now, we have to take ethical decision. At this point, the decision was no longer with author's hands alone. Now the real problems comes even in our situations as well. Now it is not the engineer's only decision. Now it becomes organization decision. What are we going to do? Now this problem gone beyond the hands of an engineer now. Our company decided to ship to them the soft steel that worked in their press but was officially out of specification. Oh gosh. The company decided, okay, if they want, we will manufacture softened steel and we will send them. And the manufacturing press, they will make use, they will produce motors with those steel, and that message is not passing anywhere that we have produced the substandard material, so we have no problem. I don't know for what reason, so they have taken that decision. This was based on the knowledge that the other steel supplier are, right? This was based, I mean, why this decision was taken? Because they found that other steel supplier had they also had the same decision. That means other steel suppliers also producing substandard steel, right? So we also did it. Now we learned 4 theories, 4 ethical moral theories. Now we want to analyze this case based on those theories, right? I hope everybody can remember 4 theories at least. Utilitarian, duty theory, right theory, virtue theory. Right? Okay. We'll look at. This case study raises all sort of questions. One of them is, who is my customer? Now, who is my customer actually? Now, we are the first manufacturing company. Is that our customer the second plant or the end user? That we need to clarify. Yeah. Our company decided our loyalty was to immediate user of the steel. The company is thinking, we don't want to worry about the consequential actions. We are sending material to our immediate end user. If they wanted it out of the specification, then that was how we were going to ship it. Right? That what they want is this level of specification material. So we are sending. But author is not happy, right? But did not complain very much, for there was no easy answer. Now there is no answer also, no what to do. So this is what is happening in real also, right? Now if you have an answer, then of course there's no problem. We can give a solution. We can move to that answer, implement that answer. But now we don't have answer. This is where the ethics has to come. Now we will look at how we can interpret the problem, the issue with the theories that we learn. Utilitarian perspective. Just think of under utilitarian what we learn. What we learn under utilitarian theory. We are doing if most of the people are happy. Right? That is what utilitarian theory in simply said. Right. Under utilitarian perspective, we have two conclusions. The one, the solution might be approved because the two key stakeholders, the steel company, the stamping plant, both are satisfied. Our action has to be satisfy the people, the greater number of people. That is what the utilitarian theory said. So now we are also satisfied because we are having a business. The other company, they can manufacture the motors without any problem. So they are also happy. So our decision is ethically moral as per the utilitarian perspective. But now, if we look at it in a broader sense, a wider analysis of the situation could lead to disapproval due to potential long-term problem affecting the appliance of many customers. Now, who is our customer? If we think the next plant, yes, based on the conclusion 1, we can approve this. It is ethical. But if we think the customers are in general public people who are using the motors, they will not satisfy because their efficiency level goes down and the breakdown will be more. So they will be unhappy. They mean it is a greater